Hello there, my name is Filip Dajneka. I am CEO at Flatlogic, and in this video I'm going to show you how to build a customer relations management system with our platform, with Flatlogic. So in this video we're going to go into details to understand the process deeply and learn how to work with our system and in general how to build web applications from scratch. So I go to the Flatlogic website and click on the Create a Web Application button. On the next step, I need to enter application's name. In our case, it's going to be a CRM, Customer Relations Management. So I put the name here. Sorry. Correct. CRM. I choose front end between React, Angular, and Vue options. I like React, so I choose React. And backend, I like Node.js plus SQLite because I don't know type ORM. I'm fine with PostgreSQL, so I click Next. On the next step, I choose a template or starter kit. At the moment, we only support Material UI, so there is no option for me here. And the next step is the most important one. On this step, we define a database schema, relations between entities in the application. So this step must be familiar for software engineers because it's studied in all computer science programs. It's where you define database entities and relations between those entities. So in order to understand what has to be built, we need to define what has to be built, right? So we're building CRM. It means that we need to be able to track our leads, to assign those leads to users, to assign leads to contacts and contacts to companies, to be able to set statuses to leads and so on. This is what we're going to build with Flatlogic. Okay, so first of all, I want to go a bit deeper into this step because it's very important in our system and approach this visually. I recommend to do this to all software engineers, especially those who are only beginning to learn web development and software development. So on this step, I'm going to visually design the database schema and to understand relations between our database entities. Okay, so let's start with the first entity, and this entity is going to be called users. So users are actual kind of users of the application. They should be able to log in, log out, sign in, sign up, and so on. And they will be related to mostly all other entities in the application. So in our case, they have name, email, and password. That's for simplicity. They will have more fields in the real application, but for the simplicity, let's keep it only name, email, and password for our graphical representation. And the next entity should be leads. So let's make a copy of this one and put it here. Now let's call it leads. At the moment, I'm not sure what's going to be here, so let's agree it's going to have status for the moment. Okay, the next one should be contacts entity, and let's put it here. So contacts are, for example, let's imagine a case. You have an inbound lead from some contact from, I don't know, John Smith at example.com. So John Smith at example.com is your contact. And he, he approached you yesterday. So that time when he approached you is a lead and he is a contact of that lead. So now we realized that we should add another field to leads. So this is status and date. So the date when this lead was created, or like so the date then when this lead was created. Okay, for the contact should have a name, also email, and at the moment let's keep it like that. So it's very similar to users, but contacts are not able to log into your application. So that's why let's keep those entities separate. Okay, let's go a bit more further and define another entity called company. So, for example, John Smith at example.com came from company, John Smith company, right? So, but there are maybe more people from John Smith company, not only the John Smith, for example, who is a CEO, but also other people from that same company. So that's why I call it company. Name of the company and I don't know, maybe industry. Okay, the contact is John Smith. He has email, name, and now let's add company. So this particular contact is going to belong to a company. So every company may have lots of contacts. This is called a one-to-many relation. So let's illustrate it with this way, like so. Company has lots of contacts. Okay, the next step is to add these relations here. So every lead has a contact. So lead came from a contact. So let's do the same thing. So every contact may have lots of leads. So John Smith may came to me like 1 year ago, and today this will make 2 leads. One year ago and one today. So let's illustrate it also like that. Okay. So what else? I forgot to link users. So in our case, every lead should be assigned to a user, kind of an owner. So the person in our system who is going to be managing this lead. So also the lead, I don't know, maybe let's keep some notes in the lead. Some advices for another owner or whatever comes to your mind. Maybe some of your personal notes about this particular lead. Okay, so let's check it. We have users. And let's link users to leads. So every user may have lots of leads. So it's also like that. Leads belong to a contact. Leads belong to a contact, and lead belong to a user. Contact belong to a company. And basically that's it. I think that's enough for the first time, and we will be able to adjust the schema and make modifications if needed. But let's start with that one. Maybe even let's start without a company and let's add company later. Okay, so now we have a schema ready. And now let's go back to the platform and transform everything there to the platform. Replicate the schema here. So we have users. It's a built-in entity. You don't need to create it. It has first name, last name, email, password, authentication, and so on. So we add another entity called, let's start from contacts. Contacts. It's better to use plural names here. So I define contacts. Okay, here is it. Now we add more fields here. So in our case, contact has name, email, and it belongs to a company. But let's keep name and email for the moment. So name of type string. There are more types here, and it's not multi-line, so it's just one line. And click save. The next one is email. Same for email. Okay, the next entity we need to define is a lead. So lead has status, date, it belongs to a contact, it belongs to a user, and it has nodes. So I repeat the process. I click on Add Entity. Click here, leads. Again, using plural form. Leads has status and date, first of all. Status. It should be of type string also. Or maybe let's use enumeration options. We have, I don't know, created. Another option may be, I don't know, conducted. In progress. And closed. Saving it. Okay, so the next field is date. Date time. Okay, the next field is a relation. We meet with relations first time. So I write contact here and pick type as relation 1 and pick contacts entity here. So you see, it shows me contacts here. Sorry, other entities. I pick contacts. Also, the last one is user. No, sorry, not the last one, user. The owner of the lead. Also relation 1 to users. And the last one is nodes. It's also type string, but in this case, it's multi-line because we need to have more text in this field. Okay, I click save. That's it basically. Also I need to choose a label field. Though this label field, that kind of the field that is going to represent the entity. In this case, it's quite not easy to define it, but let's use nodes for a moment. For the moment. Okay, I click next. And on the next page, so basically my application is ready and I can click on connect to GitHub to push the code to the repo. Connect GitHub. So it's going to ask for name of repository. I'm not sure if I have the similar repository, but let's use it CRM for demo. CRM for demo. And Flatlogic bot is going to push code here. Let's click on create. So here's it. We are ready. I can click on the link. It connected to my GitHub and push the code here. You see like Flatlogic bot, initial commit, and all code is there. Like it's a full stack, production ready application with backend database front end ready to use, ready to deploy. You can deploy it on yourself or you can deploy it using our platform. Okay, let's take a look at deeper. So for example, let's go to models and we see here that we have contacts here. We have leads. Those are entities that we defined. So those entities have name, email. Contact has name, email. For leads, we have status as we defined it here, date, nodes, and so on. And okay, so the code is here. Now I can click on finish and deploy. So my app is going to be published to the cloud. So it says setting up domain. I can click here and I will see that the application is being deployed. At the moment, it's building application. So it's going to take up to 5 minutes. So let's wait until it is done. So on this page, you see logs. So it's the real application that is being deployed to the cloud. So it's streaming logs here. And if you may either switch your tab or take a look at these logs and explore what is going on, how the application is going, how the application is being built. You see here, like it's running yarn install command, which is very familiar for web software engineers. Okay, so here is it. Our application is ready. Let's close this frame and go directly to the link. So it's published to the cloud. It's available online and is public. I click login. That's the name of the application. I have a predefined user called admin@Flatlogic set. So I simply need to click login. So on the sidebar, on the left side, you see users, contacts, and leads. So there are some users already predefined, including me, admin, and the client. So we have contacts and leads. Let's try to create some contact. So that would be John Smith from John Smith at example.com. So here is it. We created this contact. Next, let's imagine that John Smith contacted us today about the inquiry of the development of the new project, for example. So the status is created, the date is today, and contact. Oh, sorry, we did not specify the label field for contact. That's why we're seeing this ID here. We will fix it in a further iteration. So let's pick it from the list. The owner of this lead is going to be me, and the node, let's be it like development of the website. So let's type it. I click on the save button and the entity is saved. You see here, status created, date today, contact it's unique ID of the contact, and user is me, and nodes development of the. Okay, now let's imagine we have another lead coming from a contact called Harry Potter. Harry Potter at example.com. Click save, and the lead is about. It's also the status is created. The date is maybe he approached us 2 days before. And the date, the contact, it's hard to pick, but I suppose it's that one. So the user is again me, and the note, it was Harry Potter approached me to design a brochure. Design faculty brochure. Faculty brochure. Okay, save. So here is it. Now we have 2 leads. We can sort them by date, by status. We can delete them, edit them. So create new, as I showed. Also, our application contains a ready-made API, REST API. So all of these entities can be retrieved via GET request, created via POST request, updated via PUT, deleted via delete, and the content of every particular entity may be retrieved via the GET request. So REST API for the whole application is ready and is also published and deployed to the cloud. Okay, so let's imagine the status of some lead changed. So we spoke with them and contacted them, and now they are in progress status. So we can change it. We clicked on the edit, selected here in progress, and click save. So you see it changed. We can sort by status now, and it's the sorting is working. Okay, now let's go back to the project itself and open the connected repository to get the code and launch the project locally. For that purpose, I go to GitHub and clone the project and open it in my favorite IDE. So I do it that way. Check out from version control. So I put the URL here and click clone the project. Okay, so I checked out the project to my local machine. So the project structure is quite obvious. Like there is a backend, front end, and Docker. Of course, there is a README file where you can read how to launch project, how to work with the project, how to launch it with Docker, how to launch it without Docker, what are the folder structure, how to set up database, and so on. So let's follow the instructions. So first of all, there is a backend and front end. Since I have Postgres installed on my local machine, it would be easier for me to run the project locally without running Docker. So let's try it. Let's start with the backend. So I go to the backend folder in my terminal. I change directory to backend and launch Yarn there. So meanwhile, I can do this. Okay, so it is ready now. Okay, so now the project is ready, but I need to first launch the PostgreSQL on my local machine. So I don't remember okay. So the service PostgreSQL start, yes. So I'm launching PostgreSQL server. It's okay, it's launched now. And then I create a database for my application. I launch this command yarn db create. Oh, sorry, I did not change folder. I went back, going inside of backend. So yeah, it created a database for me. It's called db CRM. Okay, now since we are ready and we have a database set up, we may launch the backend and test if everything works. Okay, so it is running migrations. You see, like it's performing lots of SQL queries. It's basically creating the database structure for us. Okay, so we are ready with backend, and now let's go to the front end. So I change directory to the front end and basically follow the same structure. So I again run yarn install, but this time for the front end. So it takes some minutes to install all. Okay, now since my front end is ready, I can launch front end with the same command, yarn start. So here is it. It opens localhost. So it takes some time for the first launch, but it should be available very soon. Okay, so it is ready. It took around 2-3 minutes to completely set up. So you see the same application, but available on the local host. Previous application was in the cloud, and that one is available on the local host. I click login, same steps. So here is it. Everything is ready. Like backend is ready with preset data, front end, database, and so on. So for example, let's do the same steps we did in the cloud and create some initial entities. So let's set contact Harry Potter. For example, harry@example.com. Save. So here is it. We have it. Okay, let's now go back to the application and try to change something within the code and see if it changes here. So for example, that's the button, add filter. So I need to find this file that corresponds to this table. So it's here. It's in the sources, in the front end sources, pages, create, read, update, delete, CRUD, contacts, and contacts table. So that one. So I find this button here. It's called add filter. So it replicates the same text that is here. So for example, let's use another variant of the button, which is outlined, and change the color maybe to secondary. This is material UI, so it should support the changes. You see, like it's recompiling, and we will be able to see the changes here now. So it's Flatlogic platform created the code for you that you may modify, change, and work directly with the code. However, keep the advantages of low code, no code, because our Flatlogic agent is going to push the code for you, keep libraries updated. If you need to add more entities, it's going to add entities here, and so on. So you see the button has changed. Now let's push these changes to GitHub. Okay, so now let's add this file to the commit. Git add front end sources, pages, create, read, update, delete, contacts table, and contacts table. Commit. Change color. Change button color. And now git push. Tasks for my login. And the changes are there in the master branch. So let's check in the repository. So that was Flatlogic bot, and now it's me with my commit directly to the master branch, where I changed the color and the variant of the. Okay, since our code is here, now let's go back and add those entities that we postponed. I am speaking about this company entity that we postponed for further iteration. Okay, so I go back to the platform. I open my application here, go back to the schema tab. Also, I need to fix the label field of the contacts entity. If you remember, change it to name. Then I need to add companies, again using the plural form. Companies have name, industry, and also contact now starts to belong to a company, which means that we're adding a relation one towards the company. Okay, I click save. Now you see that, also let's change a label field for the company as well. So now you see we have 5 pending changes. I click save, and the platform says that we have unpushed changes. Let's push changes to the repository. So my changes are here. You see that Flatlogic bot created a commit, but it's only a commit. It has to be merged. So the changes are here. Let's create a pull request from the generated branch to the master branch. It says can't automatically merge, but still let's create it and take a look what's there. So let's create pull request. It says, oh yeah, it's our table, it's our changes, nothing bad here. So let's click resolve conflicts. Yeah, and see that it says that because our bot regenerated the application, it used the previous colors while we changed them to the new ones. So we simply need to uh, get rid of the code generated by platform again and keep our own code. That's it. So I go back to the top and click as mark as resolved and commit merge. So yes, now they can be merged and I merge pull request. Okay, don't click on this button, don't delete the generated branch because it's going to be used by Flatlogic bot further. Let's go to our local machine and try to fetch updates from the repository. Git fetch. So let's use git pull. Okay, so everything should be there, but since we added new entity, I need to restart my backend and run migrations again. Okay, so the next one I run yarn start, and it should run all migrations to update the database and start the server again. Okay, all is good, no errors. Now let's go back to our local application, restart it, and see if, okay, yeah, everything is here. So companies are here. Our contact button is still red. We can create new company. I don't know, add Harry Potter company and put it to some industry. So now when creating new contacts, Harry's friend, for example, you may attribute this person to Harry Potter company and click save. Okay, so here is it. You see the company. We may create more companies, attribute them to, contacts attribute to companies, and so on. So everything is here and locally available. Our changes are also here. Okay, that's almost the last step. And now let's try to push everything on the production environment because the changes are not there. In order for them to appear here, we need to update the production environment by clicking on the deploy button. It will deploy from the master branch, and all your changes, both from the generated branch, from Flatlogic bot, and from you, are going to be there in a few minutes. Okay, so in a few minutes, you should be able to see the live application again. Let's close the frame. And so you see, we have companies here. So our entity is added. It's a production environment. Our data is still there. We are using the correct labels now. So instead of those IDs, we are using their actual names for contacts. Now, for example, we may go to companies, create a company called Harry Potter company again, and put it to the industry. I don't know, fiction books. Click save and put Harry Potter to a company, Harry Potter company. Click save. So now you see we made that attribution here. So you can also filter data by clicking on the button that we made red in our local environment. For example, I want to filter out Harry's from those lists. So let's put Harry here and apply. So you see now we have only the filter is applied and we only have Harry Potter in the list. So basically, that's it. We built a simple CRM system. Now we may manage leads and assign them to some users in our system, assign statuses to those lists, and put them to companies and so on. So I hope it was helpful for you. Feel free to participate in our conversations in our forum. Leave your comments, leave your feedback. We are thankful for any input, and thanks for watching again. Bye.